Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer Age of Sigmar Order Battletome Sylvaneth. My tree folks. Kindly sent along as a complimentary advance copy to review from Games Workshop. Now this is of course an update to the 2020 Sylvaneth Battletome, I think, with the War Singer in it. And goes along with that, right there, Lady of Vines, the cool new release of the Skaven versus Sylvaneth two-player battle box. So general overview before we get started. This is very much like the Idoneth book. So if you watch my Idoneth book review, this feels a lot like that. There are some new units this time, which is really cool. You got your Spite Riders, your Glossamids, and Lady of Vines added to the roster. So there's a bit of new stuff, which I was really hoping the Idoneth would get. But for the most part, this feels like an updating of the army in general to being a 3rd edition Age of Sigmar army. Lots of cool color section stuff, but how they're always beefing with Nurgle, the Awakening of the Realms, and the life bomb that, what's her name? Not Allarielle. I want to say Galadriel. Alarielle's basically just Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. Blows up, and it does. And I love the way they do the explanation of how everything grows from Allarielle, and it's all just growing out of her. So the Royal Mute, the Free Spirits, the Oaken Brugglade, and all the other various grades, Gnarlroot, Heartwood, Ironbark, Winterleaf, Dreadwood, and Harvest Boon. These are presented in a much more simple manner. You get one special rule basically for picking them. They're a lot like the hosts of the Stormcast Eternals. Background for all of them, and they're all kind of seasonally done. Lady of Vines, Draca Hamadrath, and her crazy spiteness, and all the Free Spirits. Yeah, there they go. Nice big color section there. So there she is in her giant beetle. The Kurnothi, the Warsong Revenant. I don't have one of these. I should get one. It is a very cool miniature. It's one of the few things I don't have for myself in another army. I don't have the Warsong Revenant, and I don't have Allarielle. Mostly because I hate building an army around a single giant, almost 1,000-point centerpiece miniature. I just refuse to do it. It's why I don't have Kragnos for my ogres. I don't have what's his name, Archeon for my Chaos army. I want to make up my own characters. I'm fine with Lady of Vines. I'm fine with the baby characters. I don't want to do these huge 1,000-point because they just dominate your whole army. I don't have any interest in that. But I will get the Warsong Revenant because the model's badass. I mean, not to say that Allarielle the Everqueen isn't an amazing miniature. It's not how I like to play Warhammer. The cool new Revenants, Spite Riders, and the Revenant Soul Wardens. All the cool color flyers. Draca, and Lady of Vines, who we'll just call Better Draca from now on. Spirit of Earthu, who isn't a character. This might be my favorite of all the Kurnothi because it looks like he's smiling. He just looks happy. He looks like he's having a good day. He's like, I'm going to hit you with my kill stick. Get ready for it. And then I have a color section here for the Spite Revenants. I'm just going to do something here. I completely forgot before I started this to stick over that little guy right there. There we go. So you have a free code. And of course, Skate's Wild Hunt, which is the end. The other one doesn't get a color section photo, but it's the Thorns of the Briar Queen, I think it's called. How to paint using the sweet new contrast. All right, we're into the rules. There we go, Ash. Shut up. We're into the rule stuff now. All right, so battle traits. You can pick a glade. There are, of course, 7 of them, weirdly. There's usually 6 of everything. Places of power. So this is your after territory is determined, but before faction trains are set up, you can pick 3 train features on the battlefield that are wholly outside enemy territory. So as I'm also reviewing this today, I'm going to show you that can often not be very easy when you go through and you look at some of these battle plans. Like, it's your half of the table for this one, right? Turf War, it's your half of the table for that one. So a lot of times you're not going to be able to place, like this one's a lot easier, but a lot of times you're not going to be able to pick terrain, like in these battle plans that's going to be that's going to be anywhere useful, basically. But you basically pick 3 pieces of terrain that become overgrown. Overgrown triggers much the same things that being an Awakened Wildwood does. At the start of your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to each friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature or friendly Awakened Wildwoods. They're kind of like your home bases. They're also the ways that you can jump. And that leads to, from the woodland depth, sorry, walk the hidden path once per turn. At the end of your movement phase, you can pick one friendly Sylvaneth unit that's wholly within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature or awakened wildwood. If you do so, remove them from the battlefield and set them up again. More than 9 from the enemy and wholly within 9 of a different overgrown terrain feature that's more than 3 from enemy units. Now that's the problem though. That last line there. The overgrown terrain feature or has a restriction that the enemy can't be within 3 of it. Or a different friendly awakened wildwood that's more than 3 from all enemy units. So like, you need to, your opponents can basically zone out where you can jump by just being within 3 of it. That's a big new restriction that wasn't there before. It used to just be next to one of those things and not within 9 of the enemy. So you could still jump to the enemy. Now you can't jump to the enemy through an overgrown trade feature or awakened wildwood. But they've given you more ways to make awakened wildwoods, and they've given you more overgrown terrain. So, yeah. And then strike and fade once per turn in your combat phase immediately after a friendly Sylvaneth unit that is wholly within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature or friendly awakened wildwood is fought. You can remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again more than 9 from the enemy and wholly within 9 of a different overgrown terrain feature that's more than 3 from all enemy units that are of or a different friendly awakened wildwood that's more than 3 from all enemy units. So basically, you can never jump to a place where the enemy's within 3 of that terrain feature. I don't love that. I feel that restriction makes it feel like you have to go backwards whenever you make that jump now. You have to go away from the enemy to go do it. So if a smart player is just going to zone out the terrain you can go to, and you won't be able to use that for your mobility. Then Verdant Blessing. It has every wizard knows it. It casts on 6. Has a range of 18. If casts, set up a Awakened Wildwood terrain feature wholly within range and visible to the caster, and more than 3 from all other models, endless spells, invocations, terrain features, and objectives, and add to your army. So all your wizards can just make Awakened Wildwoods now. So it used to be, now it was 2. We're back to unlimited. So everybody go buy the Awakened Wildwoods. I still have exactly 0 of the current range ones. I have 3 of the old ones. I guess I gotta go buy some Awakened Wildwoods. I guess it's happening. And then Season of War. After you've picked a Sylvaneth army, you must pick which season applies to your army roster and then record it. So basically, this is a theme for your army that isn't your Glade. It's on top of that. It's basically what season you're in. You're burgeoning, so it's spring. Friendly Sylvaneth units that did not charge in the same turn or wholly within 9 inches of an overgrown terrain feature or Awakened Wildwood get a ward save of 6+. That one's going to be real popular. The Reaping adds 3 to the range within which you can pick friendly Sylvaneth units with the Places of Power and Woodland Depths battle traits. So basically, all of these are within 12 as opposed to within 9 now. So you heal within 12 of one, wholly within 12 of one, and you can place wholly within 12 ones when you walk the hidden path, which means you could slingshot off of them a little bit. That one, the Reaping does actually sound really good, because the 6+ ward isn't amazing, but adding 3 inches to the range of all that stuff sounds really good. The Dwindling, in the hero phase, you can reroll 1 casting roll, 1 unbinding roll, and 1 dispelling roll, so long as your friendly wizard is with a Sylvaneth wizard and is wholly within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature or Awakened Wildwood. So the Briar Queen can just always do it because she counts as 1. And then Everdusk, sorry. Subtract 3 from the range within which you can do all of the same things. So you're only 6 inches away from them to heal and to place now. However, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Sylvaneth unit is wholly within 6 of an overgrown terrain feature is a 6, you double your hits. So you get exploding 6s to hit, but the ranges for all these things are reduced. I don't feel like the penalty was necessary. Because it's just straight bonus, straight bonus, straight bonus, bonus with a penalty, and it still only triggers on a 6. I mean, it's thematic, but I feel like it's just never going to get taken because of that. I think the Reaping and probably the Dwindling will be the 2 most popular. The Burgeoning's simple, though. So those 3 probably on equal footing. The Everdusk one I don't feel like is going to get used. Command traits, aspects of war. So the most popular one's the first one, Gnarled Warrior. Ignore modifiers positive and negative to save rolls for attacks that target the general. So your 3+ save general, who's probably a tree, just always gets a 3+ save. That's kind of amazing. Aspects of war. In the combat phase, subtract 1 from the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by the enemy that finish a pile and move within 3 of a general. And then War Singer. If this general's in the battlefield, add 3 to the movement characteristic of friendly Sylvaneth that start a move wholly within 12 of them until the end of the phase. So +3 move. 10-inch moving dryads. The aspects of renewal for your wizards. So this is any hero. This is just the wizards. Nurtured by magic. This is basically the old Gnarl Root, I think, aspect. It's once per turn if you cast a spell, pick a Sylvaneth unit with an 18 and heal D3 wounds. Spell Singer. When this general attempts to cast a spell, before making the casting roll, you can pick a friendly Awakened Wildwood in the battlefield. If you do so, the spell is successfully cast, not unbound. You must measure the range and visibility for the spell from that friendly Wildwood. So, yeah. So let's just hop over here to, where are you, little Branch Wraith? My favorite little Branch Wraith. She's here somewhere. Come on. Where's the Branch Wraith? Wait. They didn't kill the Branch Wraith, did they? I looked all the way through this. Warsong Revenant, Arch Revenant, Spirit of Durthu. They did! They killed the Branch Wraith. She's gone. What? Weird. Yeah, just Branch Witch. They took her out. No more making dryads. Weird. Okay, because it didn't even occur to me that she wouldn't be in here. Oh, strange. So no more making 10-man dryad units. I was just thinking she would just sit like a battery and you give her that trait and she just poops out dryads every turn. But they gave it to the Lady of Vines as a once per game. Weird. Oh, that's so weird. Does Dryka do it maybe? Deadly Infestation. No. No, she's just gone. Well, forget that tactic then. I was just going to be like Spell Singer, my Branch Wraith, but I mean, she was fine cast, so I guess they've just knocked the last of the fine cast out of here. Weird. Okay, well, now we know. No more Branch Wraith. We had given and we had taken away. I wonder if she'll stay in the War Scroll Builder. Super weird. She's gone Legends only. Well, that would have been a cool trick if you could do it, but you can't do it anymore. I was just going to say, just sit in the corner out of like Dispel range and just poop out dryads wherever there's a free tree, basically. And then Radiant Spirit. Each time a friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 12 of the general is affected by a spell or the abilities in the spell, you roll a die, and a 4+, you just ignore it. So basically you have a little bubble of 12-inch, you can't hurt me with a spell or endless spell on a 4+, which is, again, very good. Greenwood Gladius, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons at the start of the combat phase, add D3 attacks to that weapon. This is also Sylvaneth hero only. Crown of Fell Bowers, at the start of the combat phase, pick an enemy within 6 of the bear, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Sylvaneth units that target the unit in that phase, and the Seed of Rebirth. The first time you die, roll a die on a 2+, you're not slayed, and immediately heal D3 wounds, and all the remaining wounds that are going to be allocated are negated. So, yeah, there you go. There's only 9 things, but they're all pretty great. The 3 artifacts are all pretty great. I like that they've just kept it simple. I didn't like having too many. Your Sylvaneth Hero Wizards, Relics of Nature. Acorn of the Ages, once per battle, set up a Awakened Wildwood wholly within 12 and 3 away. Luneth's Lamp, the bearer can attempt to banish invocations as if they're a priest, and you add 2 to Dispelling and Banishment rolls. That one's actually really cool just for the Dispelling bonus. And then Vesperal Gem, once per turn in your hero phase before the bearer attempts to cast a spell from Lord of the Deepwood. And instead of making a casting roll, you can use this gem. It's automatically cast, but roll a die. On a 1, you take D3 mortal wounds. Lord of the Deepwood, Sylvaneth Wizards, including your unique wizards. You get the Throne of Vines, has a casting value of 9. If successfully cast until the start of at the end of each phase until the start of your next hero phase, heal a wound. No more bonus to cast. Old Throne of Vines is gone. Cast on 9 at the end of each phase until the start of your next hero phase. So it would be hero phase, so then it would be movement, shooting, charging, combat, battle shock. You'd heal 5 wounds. So you'd heal 5 wounds basically on a 9+. It's kind of hard to cast. You need a bonus to cast, but you do that on Allarielle, and she just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on top of the rest of her healing, everything just comes back. Regrowth. It's a spell with a casting value of 5 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within range invisible. Heal D6 wounds allocated to that unit. That just feels like a better version of Throne of Vines. Because it's not a 9 to cast, and you get D6 back, you might just get them all right away. Dwellers Below has a spell with a casting value of 7 and range of 12. Pick a enemy unit and roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in there. For every 5 plus, take a mortal wound, so not over your movement anymore, which is cool. Deadly Harvest, cast on 6, range of 3. Each enemy unit within range of the caster takes D3 mortal wounds. And then Virtuous Harmony, cast on 7, range 18. Pick a friendly Sylvaneth unit, wholly within range invisible. If it's Dryad, and return a model slain. And if it's Dryads, Tree Revenants, or Tree Spites, get D3 back instead. And then Tree Spawn, cast on 7, range 16. If cast, pick a friendly Awakened Wildwood in range. Until the start of your next hero phase, improve the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Sylvaneth units that are within 9 by 1. And then your Glades. All right, Oakenbrow. When determining which row to use in the damage table, double the amount of, halve the number of wounds you've taken for all of your Tree Lords, Tree Lord Ancients, and Spirits of Earth. That's pretty good. Nalroot just gets their old gem. You roll an extra d6 for casting rolls or unbinding rolls if your wizard is within 9 of an Overgrown Trained feature or Awakened Wildwood. So, but everybody gets it. Everybody gets it once per turn. When you make a casting roll or an unbinding roll for a friendly Nalroot wizard. So even if the one wizard dies, the other wizards can still do it. Heartwood gets Master of the Hunt. There are some additional battle line choices for each of these too. Oakenbrow, you get Tree Lords as battle line. For Gnarlroot, you get nothing special. For Heartwood, you get Kurnothi, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Kurnoth Hunters all become battle line. And they get after deployment, but before the first battle round, pick 3 different enemy units to be the quarry for your hunt. If you do so, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Heartwood units that target them. So the 3 most dangerous things in your opponent's army get +1 to hit against them for the whole game. And then Ironbark, stand firm, use command phase at the start of the enemy combat phase. The unit that receives the command must be a friendly Ironbark unit within 3 of the enemy that made a charge move in the same turn. Pick 1 enemy unit within 3, and it's the enemy unit that charged them. That's why it's stand firm. Pick 1 enemy unit within 3 of the friendly Ironbark unit and roll a die, and a 2+ to take D3 mortal wounds. You use command ability more than once in the same phase, but if you do, you cannot pick the same enemy unit more than once in the same phase. And then Winterleaf, Winter's Bites. And who gets the Ironbark? No battle line for them. Winterleaf, nobody. It's just Dreadwood and Harvest Boon get extra ones. Harvest Boon was... Wait. Heartwood? Harvest Boon. Oh, Harvest Boon is the last one, yeah. Winterleaf is enemy units can't retreat within 3 inches of a friendly Winterleaf unit. In addition, if you pick Everdusk from your Season of War, and enemy units within 3 of a friendly Winterleaf unit cannot be removed from the battlefield to an effect that would allow them to be set up again later. So no bamping. And you can't retreat. Dreadwood, once per battle, you can use Walk the Hidden Paths twice in the same turn, but if you do so, at least 1 unit from your army must be a friendly Spite Revenant unit. You can also use Strike and Fade more than once, but it must be with Spite Revenants. And Spite Revenants are battle line in the Dreadwood army. And then Harvest Boon, after deploying, but before the first battle round begins, you can move each friendly Harvest Boon Spite Rider Lancer and Revenant Seekers unit up to 12 inches. If both players can move units before the battle round begins, you must roll off, and the winner chooses who moves their units first. So all your flyer guys get to move fast. All right, and Path to Glory. So their whole thing is about, of course, spreading growth and kicking out intruders. So you've got your Gifts of Garan, Spreading Victory, Evergreen's Chorus. It's basically using battle tactics and stuff, and Begone Intruders to push people out. Get your cool veteran abilities, territories, and a bespoke battle plan. And you get your Wargrove, and we're in a match play. All right. Now, having read through this, I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't say you can pick grand strategies and battle tactics from your Battletome in this season. So if you're planning on playing pitch battles, which means tournament play, these may not be super relevant. Now, core battalions are able to be used, so you can use this, but the grand strategies and battle tactics, I don't know. If the battle pack says that you must pick grand strategies and battle tactics for your army, you can pick the following list as well as those found in the battle pack you're using. So, I don't know what trumps what, but hopefully you can use these. I really hope you can use these because they're very thematic. The Grand General's Handbook, the Warzone Nephilim Grand Tournament Pack specifically says you can't use your Codex ones, and there's no reference to the Battletome ones in the General's Handbook, so I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping you can just use these freely, but there's a chance you can't. So we'll see. Grand strategy. So Seeds of Triumph. Chorus of the Woodlands. When the battle ends, you've completed 4 battle tactics from the Songs of War. Vengeance and Spite. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if the model picked by your opponent's general was slain by an attack made by a friendly outcast unit. So outcasts, which means your Draika or your Spite Revenants, basically. They're all your outcasts. Yeah, so Spite Revenants killed somebody, and then Skates Battle Hunt is automatically Oakenbrow. And I think Draika's an outcast. Yeah, it's Draika. Just Draika, who's also a monster. Anybody else an outcast here? I don't think so. I think it's all Kurnothi and Tree Lords and stuff. Yeah. Oh, sorry, some of the Riders might be outcasts. Nope, they're all Noble Spirits. Never mind. Noble Spirits and Free Spirits. Weird, because the Spite Riders I thought were going to be outcasts too, but they're not. Well, that's it then. So basically, if one of your battle line choices, your Spite Revenants kill something, or Draika. Seems kind of corner case for that one. And then the Roots of Victory. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there is a friendly awakened wildwood on each quarter of the battlefield, and all enemy units are more than 6 from them. That seems kind of difficult. And then Battle Tactics. Songs of War. Eradicate Trespassers. Pick an enemy unit within 6 of friendly awakened wildwood. If you destroy them during this turn, you get this one. Harness the Spirit Path. You complete this battle tactic if any models from a friendly Sylvaneth unit that was set up using the From the Woodland Depths battle trait make a charge move this turn, so you have to be able to have successfully charged 9 inches. Seems hard. Balance the Cycle. Pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of an overgrown terrain feature or a friendly awakened wildwood. Complete this battle tactic if that unit is destroyed by an attack made by a friendly Sylvaneth unit that was added to your army this turn. So you have to have, like, summoned something, made a unit, and then kill something? Yeah. And then March of the Forest Lords. Pick an enemy monster on the battlefield. You complete this battle tactic if that monster was slain by an attack made by a friendly Spirited Earth 3, Tree Lord Ancient, or Tree Lord during this turn. That one feels, again, it's responsive to if there's a monster. And then Unleash Grand's Wrath. Pick a friendly Sylvaneth wizard in the battlefield. You complete this battle tactic if a spell successfully cast by that wizard or an endless spell summoned by them destroys an enemy unit this turn. So, yeah, I don't know. Chorus the Woodlands. Some of these are not like the Eradicate Trespassers. Yes. Harness, you'd have to set somebody up and then make a 9-inch charge, so probably no. Balance the Cycle, summon something and then kill a unit within 12 of a wildwood or overgrown terrain feature, probably no. I don't know how you would assure that one. Like, they don't feel very easy to do. March of the Forest Lords, probably yes, as long as there's a monster in your opponent's army, having them killed with one of your monsters, probably. But then Unleash Grand's Wrath, also being sure you're going to kill someone with a spell. They're brass rings. There might be just a really good opportunity to do them, and you go, oh, I'll do this one, and bam, you get it. But I wouldn't build an army around it because I wouldn't think that there's not going to always be a chance of it happening, basically. And then Core Battalions, I'll probably play this one a lot. It's 2 Tree Lord Ancients and a Tree Lord, basically, as the basic one. Lord of the Clan. And you get Strategists, you get a free command point once per turn, or once per game. Yeah, I like my Tree Lord Ancients. I mean, that's a 1,000-point Core Battalion, but it's still a Core Battalion. It's kind of neat. All right, Allarielle. She's still ginormous. Spirit Kurnoth, 16 wounds, 3+ save, Bravery 10. Moves go 16, 15, 14, 13. She brackets at 7, sorry. So she brackets at just under half. Spear Kurnoth, 2+2+, -1, and it's got 6 flat damage when she throws it. It's a 6 spear. Talon of Dwindling, so when she fights with her like weird tree hand, 1-inch range. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 3s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. She's not very good with it. And then her Great Antlers on her bug, 4 attacks, 3+2+, -2, and 5 damage. So 20 damage available off of the bug, 4 available off of her. And the Spear of Kurnoth obviously is a sick throw. She casts 3 on Binds 3 and knows all the spells from Lord of the Deepwood. She can fly, because the beetle has wings. Life Bloom, in your hero phase, you can heal 2d6 wounds allocated to this unit. In addition, so basically 7 wounds per turn. In addition, once per battle at the end of your hero phase, if this unit was destroyed, you can roll a dice and add the number of the current battle round. On a 6+, you can set this unit up on the battlefield, wholly within 12 of an overgrown terrain feature, more than 9 from the enemy, and with 8 wounds allocated to it. So yeah, you got to kill her earlier. She doesn't stay dead. If you kill her on turn 5, guess what? On a 2+, she's coming back. If you kill her on turn 4 on a 2+, she's coming back. So if you don't kill her on, and then it's like a 3+ and a 4+, there's a good chance no matter when you kill her, she comes back with half her wounds left. Living Battering Ram, if you carry her to Stomp Monsters Rampage, and if it's a wound characteristic of 1, you do D6 mortal wounds instead of D3. And then once per battle, summon a unit of either 20 Dryads, 10 Tree Revenants, 10 Spite Revenants, 3 Kurnoth Hunters, a Branch Witch, or a Tree Lord. The Branch Witch feels like the you got robbed. I would never probably bring those in. The Revenants, though? Oh boy howdy, they got better. We'll see. Swirling Glow Spites, you can retreat and still shoot or charge. Talon of the Dwindling. In any phase, if any wounds allocated by this unit's Talon were allocated to enemy model not negated, then roll a die. On a 6, they're dead. So, I mean, it's not great, but if you take a wound from it on a 6+, you might just die. She gives you the dead touch. And then Metamorphosis has a casting value of 7 and a range of 16. If cast, pick an enemy unit within range, invisible, and roll a die for a number of dice equal to the casting roll. On a 3+, they take a mortal wound. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool. If a unit's destroyed by a mortal wound caused by the spell, before removing them for last model from play, set up an Awakened Wildwood, consisting of 1 scenery piece, wholly within 12 of the model, and more than 3 inches from all others. So it's a baby one. More than 3 inches from all other models, train features and objectives, and add to your army. Rights of Life. Once per battle at the start of your hero phase, you can say Allarielle will give voice to a verse of the Right of Life. If you do so until the end of that turn, all trained features on the battlefield that are not considered to be overgrown are considered overdrown. So she just says, everything's a tree, and everything becomes a tree. I don't know. She's pretty great, but she's also 840 points. Holy crap. She's expensive. Again, why, like, if you're building your army, you're building it around her and around the fact that you're getting a free 200-point unit out of her, too. Lady Vine's pretty much the same as in the whatchamacallit, the little booklet I went through. Her cool one-shot, 2+, 2+, -1 d6 damage, Kurnoth's Wrath. And then her melee attack from the spear is 3 attacks, 3+, 3+, -1 d3. I wish it was standard flat 2. But the Lashing Vines are 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. She's the War Master, so she always counts as being the general. Same with Dryka. Cast 2 on Bind 2. Her cool crown makes everyone within 6 of her, treating as being within 6 of an Awakened Wildwood. And then her Writhing Vines, she can either make a unit -1 to hit, or she can add +1 to hit for attacks to target them. That's sort of the combat phase. Roused Wrath, making a unit of Dryads on a 2+. And set them up anywhere wholly more than 9 from the enemy and wholly within 9 of an overgrown train feature Awakened Wildwood. And then Aspect of the Everqueen. So she comes with a 100-point unit, basically. Aspect of the Everqueen has a casting value of 7 and a range of 12. On a 5+, if cast into your next hero phase, friendly Sylvaneth within 5 of her have a 5+ ward. So she has a ward bubble on top of all of her other stuff. But you got to cast every round. And then Dryka, she has her usual Mercurial aspect. She can flip her gun or her melee attacks to have 20 attacks, which is nice because they're 3s and 3s, -1 damage each. She can cast 1 on Bind 1, Deadly Infestation. If an unmodified hit from an attack made by a colony of Flutter Furies or a swarm of Skirmlings is a 6, do a mortal wound. That's why 20 attacks is amazing, because it's on average it's going to be divided by 6, 3 to 4 mortal wounds. And then Song of Spite, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Spite Revenants wholly within 18 of her. She drives them crazy. And then Primal Terror, cast on 6, range 12, roll 2d6. Each enemy unit within range that has a bravery characteristic lower than that roll suffers D3 mortal wounds. And the big old War Song Revenant, he's got his standard core stats that are pretty much the same. Cast 2 on Bind 2. His vines are 5 attacks, 3-inch range. 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. He's still pretty fighty, 10 damage potentially. And his Spirit Falchion's 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1, 1 damage. Has a 4+ ward save. And cast 2 on Binds 2. He's still a good deal. Add 1 of the bravery characteristic of Sylvaneth while they're within 12 of him. Wholly within 12. And subtract 1 from the bravery of enemy units that are within 12. Wildwood Revenants, add 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for this unit while they're within 9 of any overgrown train feature or Wildwoods. And unleash a Swarm of Spites, cast on 7. Range 9. If cast, roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll for each enemy unit within range, and on a 5+, take mortal wound. So explodes. The Arch Revenant, 12-inch move, 4+ save, 6 wounds and bravery 8. Still flies, and has his Zephyr Sprite. His cool glaive is 4 attacks, 2-inch range, 3s and 3s minus 2/1 damage. And the tail pincers are D3 attacks, 4s and 3s 2 damage. He has the Crescent Shield. At the start of the combat phase, you must say if this unit's adopting a defensive or aggressive stance. If it is defensive, it has a 4+ ward save. That's going to go a long way to keeping it alive. And if it's aggressive, it's +1 attack characteristic of this unit's Revenant Glaive. I would always be defensive forever. +1 attack or 4+ ward save, I'll go 4+ ward save every time. And then Champion of Kurnoth, add 1 to wound rolls for friendly Kurnoth hunters, wholly within 12 of friendly unit with this ability. That's good for your guns. And Call to Battle, once per, you can use command ability once per turn at the start of the combat phase. The unit must be a friendly Sylvaneth unit to receive the command. Add 1 of the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by them until the end of the phase. So he just gives everybody +1 attack and +1 to wound for Kurnoth hunters. So you stick him in unit Kurnoth hunters, give him a 4+ word save, and send him in. To give 1 of the unit +1 attacks and everybody +1 to wound. That's dope. All right, Mr. Spirited Earthu. Well, we've seen your improvement already, so it's basically the same as in that booklet. Tree Lord Ancient has the same core stats as the Spirited Earthu, so wound brackets have changed, 14 wounds, 5-inch move, bravery 9, 3+ save. Of course, you can give either of these guys that sweet ignore modifiers to my save. His Doom Tendril stuff's got 2 shots, 2s and 3s, -1, 3 flat damage now, which I love. And then Sweeping Blows. No more D6 damage. This is a big change. It's only 2 damage, but it has 5 attacks. So he's a lot more consistent. It used to be 3 attacks, D6 damage. I'll take 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. That's so much more consistent. And then his Massive Impaling Talon, also hugely more consistent. It's 2s and 2s, -2, 3 damage. So he used to be 1 damage with a 6 doing mortal wounds. And then now he's basically got 16 damage potentially flat coming at him per round in combat. He casts 1 and binds 1, same Ground Shaker, but it's a monstrous rampage. Spirit Paths, at the start of your movement phase, this unit's wholly within 6 of an overgrown terrain feature. You can walk the Spirit Paths just like Durthu. Silent Communion, once per battle, set up a Awakened Wildwood. And it's consisting of 1 scenery piece, so it's just 1 tree. So basically, the ones he makes now and the one that, for instance, Allarielle makes by killing somebody are a single tree out of the pack of 3, because it's 1 terrain piece. Awakening the Woods. Spell that has a casting value of 6. If cast, pick a friendly Awakened Wildwood on the battlefield. Each enemy unit within 3 takes D3 mortal wounds. So you can blow up the trees. And the Tree Lord's just a non-magical version of him. Spirit Path, Ground Shaker, Lash, and Tangle. If an attack made by a melee weapon by this unit scores a hit, models in this target unit cannot make pile-in moves until the end of the turn. That could be huge. Corner charge something, and then lash it so that you do a wound, and then they can't make any pile-ins. His Strangle Roots are 3 shots now, but they are 2+, 3+, -1, 2 damage. And then his Sweeping Blows and Massive Impaling Talon are the same as the big boy. And then I can't believe on my first pass I missed that the Wraith's not in here. Just the Branch Witch. Still just kinda okay. 5 wounds, 5+ save, bravery 7. The Scythe has 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. Cast 1 on bind 1. The Bitter Grub's got D3 attacks at 4s and 3s, 1 damage. And then Fury of the Forest, add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit if they're within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature or wildwood. And then Unleash Spites, it's the same as the one on the War Singer. I would never take this model. Why didn't you give her the summon? Give her the summon Dryads. Let me make Dryads. They're so garbage. All right, Gossamed Archers. We've seen them already. D3 mortal wounds on a 6 to hit. Nice shoot and fade if you charge them. Then on a 2+ they can retreat after they've done any Unleash Hell. And Forest Fighters, they have a 2-inch coherency. Love this unit. Stoked to pan them. Spite Rider Lancers. Oh, that Thrumming with Life, both these units have them. All wounds allocated to them at the end of each phase come back. So there's no, like, unless you're sure you can kill one, you just don't fight them because they just heal back to full. That's such a crazy ability. That's such a crazy ability. They're always, whenever you start a phase, they have 5 full wounds. You have to be able to do 5 wounds for sure by the end of that phase. Now the Spite Rider Lancers have 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2/1 damage, and the Mandibles are the same on both. 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 4+, 3+, -1/1 damage. You've got 1 to your attack characteristic for your champion. Standard Bearer lets you do 6-inch pile-in moves instead of 3. And then you still have the Musician, which gives you if you make a rally command, you get a guy's back on a 5+ instead of a 6, which is amazing. So 5+ rallies for both these guys, 6-inch pile-ins. You fly, and then you have Descent of the Spider Riders. The Strike First ability is on you when you charge, and Throwing with Life is all your wounds back. These guys, however, have Harvesters of the Lamentiri. Once per turn at the end of your movement phase, you can pick 1 friendly Sylvaneth unit with a wound characteristic of 5 or less. That's wholly within 12 of this unit and roll a die. On a 2+, return a slain model to life. Sure. I'll just have a unit of these guys sit behind my Kurnoth and just poop them back to life every turn. So, and they have better attacks. They have 2-inch range sickles with 4+, 3+, -2/2 damage. So they hit slightly less, but -2/2 damage with 1 less attack. I will always take these guys just for the healing, just for being like a baby like Indrasta. Like, why not? I love them. They're amazing. Kurnoth Hunters. So we've seen the bow ones, obviously, in that little booklet already. Flat 2 damage on their bows. Remember, with your Huntmaster now, your Arch Revenant, you're going to get 2+ to wound on all these guys. So 4+, 2+, -1/2 damage, which is pretty sweet. And you still out-attack them. They've changed Envoys of the Everqueen, though. It's not the double-down commands. It's, while this unit's contesting an objective, friendly Sylvaneth units within 6 of that objective are treated as being within 6 of an overgrown terrain feature. So these guys are now portable overgrown terrain. And then Trample Underfoot, roll a dice for each model in the end of the combat phase, and a 4+2 mortal wound. It's not the end of their fighting, though. It's the end of the combat phase. So now your Great Swords are 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1/2 damage. They've got the same Envoys and Trample. They have Sundering Strikes, 6 to hit is 2 mortal wounds. And then, I'm glad I made Scythes. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -3 rend and 2 damage. What a bananas rend on that. They don't get the Exploding Mortal Wounds, but I think they're more consistent. I'm going to make another unit. I have more units. I'm going to make a unit with swords. I've got these 2 painted already. I'm going to paint a unit with swords just to have. And then they have Envoys, Trample, and Tanglethorn Thicket. If any models in an enemy unit finish a pile-in move within 3 of a friendly unit with this ability, the enemy unit takes a mortal wound after all models in the unit have finished their pile-in moves. So every unit that piles in next to them takes a mortal wound. And then Dryads. They're still Dryads. They don't get +1 armor for having a big unit anymore. They're just 7-inch move, 5+ save, bravery 6, 1 wound, 4s and 4s, 1 damage, and 2 attacks. Branch Nymph gets an extra attack, and then Blessings of the Forest. You're -1 to hit them if they're wholly within 9 of an overgrown terrain feature, Awakened Wildwood. Meh. If you make them for free, sure. But like in the new pitch battle season, these are going to be your Galician veterans, and I don't know why I don't know why I'd want them. But on with finally to the greatest of all things. The Tree Revenants and Spite Revenants all have 2 wounds now. Hooray! 5-inch move, 2 wounds. Finally, it's about time. 5+ save, bravery 6. Where's the 2 wounds on my Namardi? Enchanted Blades have 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1/1 damage. Decent fighters. Standard Bearer makes 6-inch pile-in moves. Scion gets +1 model to it, or +1 attack to its Protector Glaive, which is a 2 damage attack. And then your Musician still has the Wave Pipes. They can just bamf around the table, go anywhere on the table, not with none of the enemy. So you have this amazing teleporting battle line unit that can finally survive the barest of punches because they doubled their wounds. And then Martial Memories isn't a reroll anymore. It's once per battle round, this unit can receive the all-out attack or all-out defense command without any the command being issued and without command points being spent. So you just get to learn how to fight again. And then Spite Revenants. 2 same core stats, 2 wounds. Your Cruel Talons and Fangs are 3 attacks, 3+3+ with 1 damage. But Unbridled Malice, if the unmodified hit for an attack made with the Cruel Talons and Fangs is 6, the target takes a mortal wound, the attack sequence ends. So they're actually dangerous. A model in this unit can be a Shade Stalker, you get +1 attack. So I'm into it. Mortal Wounds on 6s for the Spire Revenants, and the Tree Revenants having still the ability to ban for 2 wounds. Fairly dangerous attacks and a free all-out defense. I like it. Objective holders, crazy stabbers. You'll literally never see Dryads again in an army unless you summon them. That's it. That's it from now on. I'm building 2 10-mana units of Spire Revenants just to go and obliterate things. And then my Tree Revenants will be my other battle line. To go objective sit and rally. And objective sit and rally. And then Skaith's Wild Hunt. I wish they were better. I wish just Skaith was better. He just gets an extra wound. 5+8, Bravery 6. They're automatically Oakenbrow. They get a bow. 1 bow shot. 3+4+. -1/1 damage. The Carthian, the 1 wound wizard, can cast an unbind 1 spell. Has the Might of Kurnoth spell. Pick a friendly Sylvaneth unit within range invisible. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by that unit until the start of the next hero phase. I mean, that's cool. I'll take 2+ wounding Spire Revenants, but the unit's pretty expensive. And then Fleet of Foot that can run in charge. Elthari's Guardians, that's what it was. The Thorns of the Briar Queen was because she's literally made out of thorns. That's the Banshee one, or the Ghost one for the Nighthawks. I got the name backwards. So she's a wizard, so she can cast 1 and bind 1. She rerolls wound rolls of 1, and she has the Reaping. Cast on 6, range 12. If cast, pick an enemy unit within range invisible, and roll 6 dice for 5+, take a mortal wound. She's got decent fight stats. 1 attack, 3s and 3s -1 D3 damage, and then 4 more attacks that are just 4s and 4s 1 damage, with the Snapping Mandibles getting a rend. But then her Guardians, 2 wounds each now, because they're all Spite Revenants, or whatever Revenants. The bow gets 2 shots, 4s and 3s -1/1 damage. The Great Blade is only damage 1, which I find interesting, but 4 attacks, 3s and 3s -1. They all reroll 1s, and then Martial Memories, they can take an all-out defense once per turn, or all-out attack without spending command points. So the Elthari's Guardians are actually kind of cool. Little 6 wound objective holders and a wizard. If she could summon Dryads, I'd stick her behind the army and have her do it every turn. And the Glade Worm, it's got Death from Below. It's predatory. Cast on 7, 6-inch deployment, and then moves. Death from Below, if the single spell is moved, roll dice for each unit within 1. On a 3+, they take D3 mortal wounds, but doesn't affect Sylvaneth. And then Healing Mist, after it moves, roll dice for each Sylvaneth unit within 6. On a 3+, heal D3 wounds. Your Spite Swarm Hive, the Hive nourishes. At the end of the player's hero phase, if a Sylvaneth wizard or Sylvaneth hero in that army is within 9 of this endless spell, the player can use one of the following abilities. Either Vital Venom, pick a friendly Sylvaneth unit within 9 and roll a dice. On a 2+, add 3 to the normal move and charge moves they have. So you could use the Spite Swarm Hive to get off your Hidden Paths charge then, because you're getting +3 to your charge move. And then Shielding Swarm, pick a friendly Sylvaneth unit within 9 of this endless spell, and a 2+ worsen the rend characteristic of attacks that target that unit by 1. So the Spite Swarm Hive is the way you can get that charge off if you want to get that battle tactic. And then your Vengeful Skull Root. It is a predatory endless spell, cast on 6, range 6, moves 8 and can fly. If a unit fails a Battle Shock test within 3 of it, you add D3 to the number of models that flee, and it doesn't affect Sylvaneth. And then Strangle Roots. After the endless spell is moved, roll dice for each unit that has any models passed across, and each other unit that's within 1 of at the end of the move. On a 2+, take D3 mortal wounds, or D6 if they're also within 6 of an Awakened Wildwood. That doesn't affect Sylvaneth. And then the Awakened Wildwood. Okay, only Sylvaneth armies can include this faction terrain feature. After territories are determined, you can set this faction terrain feature wholly within your territory and more than 3 inches from all objectives and other terrain. If both players can set up faction terrain features at the same time, they must roll off, and the winner chooses who sets up their faction terrain features first. When you set up this terrain feature, it can be set up as a small, medium, or large Awakened Wildwood. Small is 1 piece, 2 is medium, and 3 is large. If this terrain feature is set up as a medium or large Awakened Wildwood, all of its senior pieces must be set up touching so that they form a circle in the middle. Abilities that allow you to add an Awakened Wildwood to your army will tell you how to set it up, and they will also specify the maximum number of senior pieces it can consist of. So when you summon it with the tree songs and stuff, it's always 1 terrain piece. So you're putting down individual trees. So you can make it an unlimited amount, but at least every time you buy an Awakened Wildwood now, you get 3 of them for a lot of these setup purposes, and you're not just having to like buy 25 of these Wildwoods. And then Overgrown Wilderness, it is only possible to see a few yards into these. Visibility from units with a Sylvaneth keyword is not blocked by this terrain feature. And Vengeful Forest Spirits, at the end of the charge phase, roll a dice for each unit that's not Sylvaneth that's within 1. Add 2 to the roll if there are wizards within 6 of it. or an Awakened Wildwood that's within one of the units being rolled for. Sorry, if any wizards or endless spells are within 6 of it, sorry. And a 6+ take D3 Mortal Wounds. So, both easier to use and more prolific, because being able to put down one piece means there's way more spots for it on the battlefield for that aura to pop off of, and those tactics become less difficult to do. Also, all of your wizards can make them and place them with an 18, and you'll be able to pop that aura around a bit more, and it gives you more places to teleport to as well. So, I like it. I'm going to go buy 2 boxes, I think, because that should be enough for me to both start with one and then make more. And the one I start with, I probably will just put down as like a single individual, because it's actually easier, I think, to measure from. And it's within 9 of them. So a single Wildwood is an 18-inch circle plus the radius of the Wildwood itself, right? So you've got like a big giant circle around them that you're going to heal off of. So I feel like placing single trees is going to be more useful and more powerful probably than placing them en masse. And that's it. You got point values. Dryads are 100 still. Tree Revenants are 110. Tree Lords are 260, so those are your fixed battle line. Arch Revenants 120. Branch Witches are 130. Branch Wraith's just gone. I can't believe it. Draika, 335. Eltharion or Guardians are 180. I might actually take them now. I have them painted up. I like that. Lady of Vines is 325. Warsong Revenant's 305. Allarielle is 840. Jesus. True Lord Ancients 360. Spirit of Dirthies 370. The Gossamids are 220. The Hunters with Bows are 230. Great Swords are 250. Same with the Scythes. The Revenant Seekers are 235. The Wild Hunts 110. And too expensive for what it is. And the Spite Revenants are 105. The Spite Rider Lancers are 210. I don't know. I don't like the Spite Rider Lancers as much as I like the other one, the Revenant Seekers, 235, because you bring stuff back. And then your Glade Worm is 50. Spite Swarm Hive is 40, and Vengeful Skullroot is 60. And your allies are cities, Fire Slayers, Idoneth, and Stormcast. I'm excited. So as much as the Idoneth one was a retooling, I think, for this edition, Sylvaneth feels like it might actually play a bit differently. Being able to take your Revenants as battle line and have them actually stick around for more than 2 seconds when something looks at them feels good. I love the Mortal Wounds off the Revenants. I'm actually excited to paint some more stuff for my Sylvaneth army. I think it's going to be cool, and it gives me a bunch of reasons to play with a different build that's not just monsters and minimum battle line. I do think Dryads got the short end of the stick, though, for being an older model kit. I don't see any reason to use it anymore. You summon them. You don't have them as your starting battle line, especially in this new pitch battle pack. You're definitely just going to take them as the backline filler to hold objectives that you summon for free off the Lady of Vines. So I have 30 of them painted. The Lady of Vines makes 1 unit, and then I think that's it. I think that's all we get. But yeah, I'm pumped. More Sylvaneth and cool new models to paint up. So big thanks for watching. We'll see more GMG reviews in the future. Till then, I'm Ash. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continue to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.